Amazing, wonderful, fantastic, and fantabulous EDU and Edo sons and daughters. Good evening and welcome to yet another enlightening edition of our knowledge sharing sessions. I am the mechanic and I'm so excited to welcome everybody. Please let me know if you're in. I want to see your comments. Let me know if you're in. Are you here? Let us have you here so that we can start. All right. If you're here, please drop a comment. Let's know you're here. How are you? How are you doing? Oh, welcome. Joyce Daniels, the queen of talk, quintessential master of ceremonies par excellence. You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Where are your tribesmen and tribeswomen? Or let me just say, where are your tribes people? Where are they? You're welcome to our KSS. Today we are going to delve into something that is very important, very relevant to us as people who are interested in owning assets, commanding assets, buying assets, and patronizing assets. We are touching on a very sensitive topic, and we're looking at it from the Edo perspective. You know, growing up, they would tell us there is a line we used to hear. They would tell you, if you never get land, you never land. You know, which means that if you don't have a house yet, if you don't have a landed property, if you don't have even if it's a kiosk, if you don't have it, you have not landed yet. You are still floating in the air. So it tells you that land is a very important fact. Of course, it is one of the factors of production. Growing up, they will tell you land, labor, capital, this, that. So it's very important that we learn about land. What is it about land? You know, we're looking at it from the standpoint of real estate. What is real estate from the Edo perspective? What is the terrain, the real estate terrain looking like in this day and age in Edo State? We hear stories all the time. In fact, we see stories of people who will tell you, oh, they bought land on Tuesday, and on Wednesday they went to the land to discover that it was sold to them fraudulently. Or you hear stories that, oh, the documents given to them were fake, or they will tell you that, oh, this land actually belongs to government. There was some decree that was signed in 1722, you know, that prevents private citizens from owning such pieces of land. And then, yeah, they are money gone, land gone, blood pressure gone. You know how it goes. So today we're going to look at that very specific topic on real estate, the Edo perspective. If you're here, I want to see your comments. Yes, see your comments. Where are you joining us from? Joyce Daniels, where are you joining us from? Who else is on this? Who else is on this call? Where are you joining us from? Joyce, are you in Lagos? Are you in London? Are you in Minnesota? Are you in Edo State? Where are you joining us from? Before I introduce our speaker, or would I say facilitator for tonight, I want us to do one simple thing. Share the link to this live session on your WhatsApp stories, on your WhatsApp status. Yes, do that now. I want us to do that in 2 minutes or less. Just go underneath this video. You see the share icon that is a bit bent like this. Copy and then share on your WhatsApp statuses so that we can get a robust number of people to learn about real estate, to learn, to understand the rudiment, the semantics, to understand the processes, the do's, the don'ts, know where to come in, know what real estate is safe for you, know which is viable, know which will appreciate and the one that will depreciate. You know, it's very important. So please share this link, share the link and get your friends to join. Of course, the more the merrier. And In a few seconds, it will be green. All right. I'm sure that is done. Oh, Joyce, you're in Lagos. How is the city of excellence? Any traffic today? Did Gala seller run away with your money? Are you at an event? How did your day go? How's the Harmattan over there? Is the Harmattan shy in Lagos? Because here in Edo State, the Harmattan is original. All right. All right. We are ready to go. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce our guest for tonight at this knowledge sharing session. She is a real estate mogul by excellence. She is a chef, a restaurateur, or whatever they say in French. She's an astute practitioner of culinary excellence, and she is the CEO Catering Bamboo House. She is the CEO Gem Apartments, which means that she has her footprint solidly etched in real estate landscape. And who better to take us on this very pressing topic than her? Please welcome with me today a very fantastic, delectable, and royal personality. Please welcome with me Princess Adesuwa Ogunbo. You're welcome, Princess. Princess, how are you? How are you, Your Majesty? Please welcome her with a clapping ovation. Yes, Joyce, you're doing that. You're welcome, Commissioner for the People. You're welcome, Afi. You're welcome to our KSS. Princess, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. And
You have landed. Let me start using real estate terms. You have landed. So welcome.
and yes, thank you. So let's start doing what we should do, which is we should say where we are and where we're joining from. So I
All
am
right.
very much in Benin City. Okay, so
Wonderful.
yes, in Benin. So that's where I'm joining from. So good evening, everybody, and I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you for joining us. We have our speaker here, our teacher, our facilitator with us, and we are going to delve into real estate, the Edo perspective. Perhaps if you're looking at it from the London perspective, where you are, maybe you'll be looking at it from the Lagos perspective because you are in the city of excellence, or maybe you'll be looking at it from the Venezuelan perspective. Now we are going back home to look at it from Edo, the heartbeat of the nation. So, Princess, take it up from here. Thank you.
Yes, again, thank you for having me. The real estate sector, just like real estate sector in Edo State, just like every other place and every other sector, and it's been influenced by a lot of other factors that are necessarily not in the real estate space. But these factors affect investment in the space, and then again, people's interest in wanting to even invest. So all of those factors, go from security, the economics of it, infrastructure, um, family, So a whole lot of reasons will make people either want to invest in real estate or stay away from real estate. So Edo State is not so different really from other places where the same practices are operational. So for Edo, it is, I would say, it's an interesting space. Interesting in the sense that you really cannot use the textbook theory to come at it. Like for those of you in England, it's very different. That place is kind of more organized, more straightforward. You have statistics to back what it is you're doing. You have even statistics to inform your investment. So you'll be able to check, oh, what did my neighbor's house sell for if I'm going to be, buying, or even to determine the value of my house, right? So you can get all of those data abroad. But in Edo, there's no data. So you just, necessarily ultimately freestyle it, because of the kind of people that we are and the country we're in. People are not going to proudly say, "Oh, I paid 200 million naira for my house." You won't hear it from people. Not when they just bought it. Maybe 5 years time, they can say, "Oh, when I bought 5 years ago, I paid 200 million for it." Are they going to tell you today? They won't. But unlike in the UK, where you can actually find out the amount the house sold for, just recently. So, but here, nobody's going to be talking about all of that. So here, you're going to have to use some, what would I say now, street sense to arrive at a figure. Some of the times, people too will just wake up and put a figure for whatever reason. People say, how is land in GRA more expensive than Ikoyi? I'm not buying, no, I'll just go and buy Ikoyi land, So all of those things, because whoever has a land to sell or to sell in Edo can just fix their price. So then it comes to who wants it, how desperate does this person want it, and we determine how much again the person is paying for it, and you look at the person's bargaining power. Okay, so this is really more how the real estate space in Edo will work. And then the agents here have a lot of power, I would say, because like I said, there is really no data for you to use. So the agents can just come up with stuff and speculate. I tell you, that other house last week I just sell them for person 400 million. I lie you, but that's what they'll tell you. So a buyer that does not quite understand what is happening or is new to the space might fall for that, and all of that, those things that they are saying. But there's really no data, to back it. Most of these sales and purchases, because people are not really upfront with what it is, that how much it is they are actually paying for their properties. Over to you, Mechanic. Hello.
Wow, 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 wow. I am just really grasping this reality that over here there is not defined uh, there's no defined method or standard, to evaluate or to value these properties. To say, oh, okay, this is what this sort of building or property normally goes for. So what we just do is wake up one morning and decide to say, oh, my shanty is 100 million naira. Deal with it. My semi-detached house is 2 billion. So if you cannot buy, sit down. And then you would wonder, sometimes you would say, the person go buy this house, and you'll be shocked that people are bidding for it.
Exactly.
And the person is making a crazy amount of money off of that property. What would you say is the cause, if I would like to put it? Is it that it has to be the system is not set up, or it's not, nobody has thought about it, or does it have to include the government to regulate the going or asking prices for some of these properties? What would you say is responsible for this, for not having a lead, a responsible lead over how much some of these properties costs? What are your thoughts?
I don't think the government is something that government can really regulate. I don't think so. I feel the market, the way it is, the market is designed to literally regulate itself. Um, I'm sure you can still hear me. Can you still hear me?
We can hear you clearly.
Fantastic. Okay, sorry. So light went out, so I'm sure my people will put on to check. Okay, so the government cannot really regulate the space. how much is it, how much it's going for, and all of that. Government won't be able to do that. However, and again, for us as a people, like I told you, we are not open. We are very secretive about our dealings, and that is because, of course, everybody will say, "Ah, hide your head, do don't let people know what you're doing." Maybe village people don't enter. So if with all of these cultural practices and everything, it is difficult for you to be able to say, "Oh, okay, we're going to be putting all those informations out there," and then so other people can actually see it and access it and use those information to make decisions on buying real estate properties. Okay, so since we're not going to do that as a people, yes, you would think that, okay, government should then have the data. Now, I know I'm live right now and I don't know where everybody's watching from, but the truth is, the reality is that whatever people are buying how, they are not declaring that actual amount to government. So if they buy a house for 100 million, for example, they are going to be telling government they bought it for 45 million. And government really cannot ascertain how much the house was really sold for. So you see, there is already a gap, okay? And these are gaps that are created, well, technically by our society. There are societal gaps already. And then because our system, our government, they're not, we're big on transparency. Okay, so in this part of the world, so it's be very difficult then to say, okay, will government be able to regulate it? Because government is dependent on the information I'm bringing. So if I say to them, oh, I sold it for 20 naira, that is what they're going to, that's what they are depending on. And then, yes, government too can come back and say to you, like even when we are registering these properties, and say to you, oh, this house is worth more than this 20 naira that you said you paid for it. Right? So for that reason, we are valuing it at, let's say, 25 naira. Even at the 25 naira, the government knows, they know that it's still undervalued. But they are not about to not tell you that you are saying pay 20 naira for something, and it's not telling you, oh, no, it's valued at 8 naira. No, our government, they still don't do that. They will just maybe tell you 25 naira or 22. So you see already that the information that so when you go onto the government website, or if you decide to say maybe for a body like a Edo GIS, for example, you go there to say, okay, these are the fools that you are registering, how much, on the average are the ones in my area going for. You're going to be shocked at the disparity in the figures, okay? Because people are going to just tell government what they feel government want to hear, so that way too, they don't get to pay a lot of taxes on it.
So there's a lot of bias now, artificial inflation, so to speak. I just think to inject what Afia said. He says, why did they now charge 20% agency fee? If I'm taking it to the location, who is paying for my fuel? Who's paying for my gas? And she think there needs to be some regulation on the real estate market, of course, and to also echo the thoughts of the Disruptor General Imuwana Jonu, and she's saying we definitely need policies, systems in place to regulate this. It would be fantastic if we had the government peg this real estate. This real estate in quotes, if we had government peg and say, okay, how much do you think this is? And you're saying, oh, it's 2 naira, and maybe it's 1 naira, and they're like, okay, are you sure this is 1 naira? Let's look at it. What makes you say it's 1 naira? What are the things? Because I recall, although from movies and literature, where you have people come to inspect the property, they will check the lighting, check the plumbing, check everything. Every inch of that block is scrutinized just to give you a value, give you the sum and tell you, oh, okay, your house is worth more, or worth less. And there are instances where you have websites where you can go and, whether with your permission or not, check out what your house is worth. They already mapped out the entire area. So whether you walk up to government office or you don't walk up to government office, everybody can see it out there that, oh, your house is worth more or is worth less. But then there has to be some sincerity in these things. Moving on to cultural heritage and how it influences real estate valuation. What is the place of cultural heritage? Edo State is a place of, in fact, Edo, in my opinion, it has the richest in terms of culture, in terms of history, in terms of historical significance. Now, you hear some areas that tell you, that this area, this is close to the palace, or this is close to where this happened, or this is close to this, or this piece of land belongs to this family, this. So therefore, because of these factors, we cannot say normally this land will go for maybe 1 million naira, but because of this, we're selling this for 1 billion. And you begin to wonder, what is the place of cultural heritage in determining the prices that will attach to some of these properties that we see around, especially in Edo State?
Okay, the cultural sites normally, if our own tourism is organized, we are harnessing our tourism potentials, then you'll be looking at, okay, staying around the palace, my house should have some value because there's going to be a lot of these festivals around the palace. People are going to, they're going to come, right? And all of the traffic and everything. So you can think that, okay, that will increase, right? The value, of my house, maybe proximity to the palace. But it doesn't always follow that way. Again, for people that, like right now, if we just take again Edo States, for example, if my house is near the stadium and then my house is on Boundary Road, they're just too, personally, a lot of people will not want to stay near the stadium for anything, right? But if we were abroad, right, we would like to have our properties near the stadium because of the proximity, to the stadium and all of the events that happen there. But for us here, we're not very forced. You go to the stadium road right now, you go there and you're thinking, I don't even want to stay here, right? Road, the infrastructure, all of the other infrastructures and all of that. And that would be, okay, security as well, traffic, the noise, all of these things will determine, the value of the real estate. So, but if the tourism industry is organized more, then you understand that people want to come into the state and be looking for, where will I stay? So maybe the hotels would benefit more, the restaurants would benefit, right? Even funny enough, the hospitals will benefit because in all of those madness, people are going to have some accident somehow, right? So it's not like we are wishing for it to happen, but it is just the reality of it. Okay, so all of these things, right? People will benefit from it when it is properly harnessed and defined. But our cultural sites, so until our cultural sites are properly what's the word now? Properly managed, and sold accordingly as a heritage site and a tourist
Attraction.
that is when that's when the real estate around all of those things will actually increase in value. I think some time ago we're thinking that the wall of the Oba's Palace in Benin was going to be made a heritage site by UNESCO. So we're all looking forward to it and getting excited about it because it was a process that was already on. But lo and behold, now surprise, one day we got concrete walls in front of the wall that we thought was going to be a UNESCO site. So yes, a lot of people, they quite like it and all of that, but who are we? We can't change it, right? So all of this, so we do have the potentials. And then look at the museum now that is coming to Benin, where they're turning the bronze pieces. So we're looking at, okay, so once that is finished, more people are going to come to town. So the businesses around will benefit more, but I'm not sure how that actually translates to the real estate around there. But I think maybe by the time that museum is done, then a lot of people might start looking at, oh, maybe we can get a property near there. Let me just do one Airbnb, or let me put one service apartment near there. Let's build a hotel near there, something. So all of those ones, can then spring up. But the houses around, how would they appreciate in value, right, from all of this proximity to these sites, we're yet to get to that as a people. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Oh, pardon. All right.
I can
It
hear
seems
you
that
now.
with everything, every word that you say, there is a new wave of thought that is uncovered, that is let out. We're talking about, interestingly, there are a lot of comments about government policies and regulation, and it's one of the touch points here on real estate. What do you think the government is doing enough, or do you think they have not started at all? I remember there was a time that, was it you or just somebody, and we're talking about that there is some sort of would I call it written or unwritten policy for the GRA environs and population density, that it's controlled. Somehow this is done, that is done. I may not really delve fully into that because I am in front of the world now. I would not want to stand before a committee. But then, what policies do you think? I mean, from your standpoint, you have spent decades, in the real estate habitat, and what policies do you think the government should put in place, to augment some of these things, particularly touching the trust process? Because I mean, like Afi just said, there is no the trust. The trust is not there. The trust is lacking. If I trust the government to provide the amenities that would maybe appreciate my property, then yeah, maybe if I see what they are doing and I see that it helps my property appreciate, then I mean, I could tell them, well, this is what the asking price, this is what I want. And then the argument is, what kind of policies do you think the government should put in place? Do you think the government is doing enough, to restore the trust that is barely existent, that is barely existent by people?
I do. Okay, the government is doing as much as they can do. Okay, I would say again, I stand to be corrected. But we're used to, we're in Nigeria where the government promises us skyscraper and they give us hot. Okay, and there's no consequence. All right. So right now, I would say, and there lies the opportunities actually and the potentials for this market, because the government themselves, again, in all sincerity and purpose, they are not even true, in what they're doing. So I'll give you a simple example. I'm on Boundary Road. The government called us. In fact, they had 3 meetings with us, the people on Boundary Road, Ihama, Boundary and Ihama. So they had a meeting. They were talking about this land use charge because we've actually not been paying, not because we didn't want to pay. I think throughout Oshomole's time, a lot of people didn't want to pay because it was outrageous. My property was charged 500,000 per year, so nobody really paid. And then Geo came. So in Geo's tenure, he felt, okay, we're going to reduce it so that everybody can pay, right? And he did reduce it, so at least for 1 year, it was reduced. And what happened? Instead of the 500,000 that I was getting during the Oshomole's time, I actually got 17,000. I will say to you, I ran to Edo GIS to pay that money very quickly. So what then happened the next year? The next year, we get a bill. So property, the same property got a bill for 75,000. I got a bill for 40, I think 42 or 45,000. Then I got a bill for 120,000 for the same property. So I was asking them, so these three bills, which of them am I paying? So before we figured out which one to pay, what happened? Ferdinand Obi, the lawyer that happens to be on Boundary Road as well, took the government to court, got an injunction. And then right now we are all back to zero. We are not paying anything to government. All right. So it was because of that the government then called us to say, okay, come, let's have a conversation. You see, this money that I was saying you guys should pay is because we want to give you street lights on Boundary Road. We actually want to do we want to give you walkways, on the side. We want to plant trees. So it was the whole blueprint was really beautiful. And said, okay, so this is the reason we're charging you so much, land charge. Okay. So, and they did promise us we were going to see that change in 3 months, between about 3 to 6 months, they said. Let me tell you, that meeting has been more than a year ago. Okay? And I've not seen any, in fact, the street light on Boundary, there's actually street light. It starts from Ebenezer Junction all the way to Liberty and terminates at the former deputy governor Dubu's house, because he's just opposite the senator, a city senator. So that's where the light terminated. So we don't have on Boundary.
It is interesting.
So no tree has been planted either. All right. So that's our reality here. But again, our government actually trying to put policies in place? Yes, there is a policy at the moment. It has taken effect, where they're controlling the density of people in GRA. So they want to take it back to how it was before. I think 100 by 200 before would have only one house. Okay, so technically that is one household. But right now, 100 by 200 can have up to 6 households as it is at the moment. So what did government then do? They tell the people that are already there to leave? No. What they did do was to then put a policy in place that prevents you from further cutting up the houses in the land in GRA. So I will give you a simple example right now. On Boundary Road, you have the land here is supposed to be 100 by 2 as the standard land. So if you are buying now and then you buy a land that is not completely 100 by 2, maybe the existing house there is sitting on the maybe 100 by 100 side, and then you are buying the other 100 by 100, right? Understand that under the existing law or the policy in Edo State, you can't develop your land except you're using it for playground, because the government now is controlling, the population density in GRA. So, and understand that the case study is just always around this Ihama and Boundary Road. So, so now before you go ahead and you are paying somebody for any land in this axis, please do your due diligence to know if this population density control that government has put in place, if it affects the area you are buying. Because if it does affect it, you cannot develop it. Edo GIS will not give you CFO for those properties. So yes, government is, I said they are doing what they can. So like introducing a policy like this. And at the same time, something else that affects, again, the value of your property is noise. So in GRA now too, you have beer parlor everywhere. You have event center, the open one, the gardens and all. So for where I am, I literally don't have a life. So I can't be outside my place and just be at peace. No, because just right behind me, there is a garden. And from Thursday, they have events. So there's going to be loud music from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, loud music during the day. Then there is a church On Sunday, it is just hallelujah, amen throughout. That is on Sundays now. Imagine the church is having their own, then this garden is having their own music alongside. Then in the evenings, I have beer parlors around me. So those ones are going to play all sorts of music. So if not for the fact that I'm already here, if I'm looking for a place, I wouldn't want to be buying a land where I already know I'm not going to have peace when it comes to the noise. So I've had to change my windows from the regular windows to double glazed so that I really don't hear too much, of the noise. Because when the way we are in this state, you go and report and say this noise is too much. Then they will say, she's affecting my livelihood. This is where I'm getting money. This woman has come. So we start blaming, we start fighting each other and removing our eyes from what the problem really is. So like, as regards the noise, what has government done? They've tried to say, okay, if you're going to be having a beer parlor, try to have a soundproof beer parlor. If you're going to be having a church in a residential area, your church needs to be soundproof. But have they been able to implement it? No. And I will say to you, this year, 2024, is our freestyle here in Edo State. And why is that? In all the years, once it is an election year, the government here, they don't do any. In fact, thank God, if you see any government official now, you can conk their head, they will not complain. Why? Because they are looking for votes. They are not going to bother you. But let a new government come. So from 2025, all of the freestyling we'll be doing in 2024, we'll pay for it in 2025. So right now, there is nothing anybody can do as regards the noise. So even when government is saying that they already have policies in place, but it's not going to be implemented because it's the election year. So nobody is going to implement anything. But that does not mean that after the election, somebody will not implement it. So it's the way the country is and how we are as a people.
Wow. Afi said, they have just closed a couple of churches in Lagos. So after mapping out to discover that they were not supposed to be there. Now you can imagine what the public outcry will look like. You are stopping God? What the hell are you? And it's amazing. There's a pamphlet that was released and sent to many organizations. We just need to be consistent in executing these policies. We need to be consistent. And like you have pointed out, and which is something that Imua and her journal hinted on, it says taxes need to be tied to social value. Instead of promising people street lights that only exist in the virtual world, or promising them social amenities or infrastructure that is nowhere to be seen. There is no plan. There is nothing. And how can you even trust the government when it's coming as an aftermath? So you're now telling me, this is why we said these people should pay 300,000 naira. Why not start with that? Why not start with the why? And then make me see reasons. Show me the plan. Give me a time frame.
Let me interject there. Even right. From the government said they're going to remove street hawking from Ihama and Boundary Road, right? And then you having all of these kiosks spring up and everything. That was what government said. That was what they said they were going to do, to these streets and clear all these people. So what I can say to you now is that on Boundary, I can buy CDs, I can buy foot mats, I can buy tomatoes, I can buy suya, I can buy, in fact, there is literally nothing I cannot buy on Boundary Road. I don't need to even get to Airport Road. I buy all these things. For everything I can buy on Boundary Road. Meanwhile, they promised that all of these things were going to go. But I mean, it's not going, it is increasing. There's a suya spot now on Boundary that just opened by the street and by the place where they stay to hawk. So they not even have suya that they hawk on Boundary. So it's all of these things that government keeps promising and, they never do. And that goes back to the inconsistency in policies that Afi just wrote about. So they are not consistent with any of them. And they are selective as well in the implementation of it.
True. We just need to be consistent and also unbiased. I mean, you had, while we were doing the build up to the story, makes you wonder how these prices are pegged to properties. Like, you just look at somebody and say, I think this person can pay 500,000. Let's just slam her with 500,000 naira and see if she'll pay. Okay, this other person, doesn't really. So we profile people and profile their properties and say, I'm thinking this person can pay 200,000 naira. So let's just put 200,000 naira. And then nobody pays. And then you wonder. Let me.
But that strategy is skewed in the sense that, and this is part of the things I argue. You can't just slam Boundary Road and Ihama with 500,000 as if these are the only streets that are occupied in Benin. So why don't you map it out? Why don't you go to Siloko Road, Uselu, Ubowo, and spread it all out? And then instead of maybe charging one house on Boundary 500, and then you're charging everybody, let's say 10,000, then charge Boundary 20,000, for example. Just just do it like that, so that way everybody is actually committed to paying. They did it for 1 year, and I don't know why they went back to status quo, just because it is easier to collect money on one street. It's simpler again for government to collect on one street or two, as against actually mapping the whole of Edo State, Benin City, and then collecting the money and even making it cheaper, so that people are more committed and even excited to pay. When I got 17,000, and that was the only land use charge we paid in this place. When I got that 70,000, I queued. It took me 3 days to be able to make the payment. 3, because you need to see the crowd at Edo GS. They too didn't believe the people that came out. They did it, but because again, as a people, we are proud. So nobody wants to say my house brought 17,000 and then I didn't pay, and then they came to put a bad sign. Do you understand? Maybe mark it out to say, oh, you have not paid. I don't want any of those. So people paid. So how come we changed back to the status quo of bringing us a higher amount, and then now Boundary is not paying anyways because of this injunction? Now nobody is getting money, and that
And
was
I can even imagine. I can even imagine that most people who queued because they were not sure what the future would look like. So that tomorrow they will not come and say we should pay 1 million. Let me just pay this one now before this one happens next week. Which is
they changed their mind.
why they change their mind. No, sometimes we think like the government. There is a question here. So please, if you have any question for our guests, please put it in the comment section. Put it in the comment section. I would just go straight to this question. Let us look at it. Princess, what do you think of the future of real estate in Benin? But before then, I want you to just hold that thought. So we'll take something else before we get there. Now, we have a lot of people in EDO and the wider Edo community, as it were, who are in diaspora. Most of them will be looking out for real estate opportunities that they can take advantage of, here in Edo State. And a lot of them don't know what's up. In the Nigeria panels, they don't know what's in the happen. They're just there. Oh, what's going on? It just, oh, my motherland, my motherland, my motherland, my motherland, my motherland. Now, what advice would you have for them if I am the Enoge of Seychelles or the Esama of Italy, and I want to come to Benin City or Edo State to acquire a property? I have no knowledge of what is happening here. I have no understanding of the policies. Maybe I don't even know what website to look at or what article to look at to guide me or to inform or influence my choices. What would be the first 3 things you would tell me to do, before stepping out, or before someone steps out in my stead, to engage and to acquire choice properties in Edo State?
Okay, well, I think the first thing is you decide on what you want this property for. So are you
Okay.
just going to be having a property because you want to have a property in Benin? Or is it the particular thing you want it for? So once you know the use, then you take it from there. So the other thing is once you identify what you want the property for, you then want to decide on what area would I want to have this property in. And then after that, you want to ask yourself, how much do I really have, to invest in this project or this property. So those would be like the three basic things, questions you ask yourself first. So by the time you've answered that, you then want to now move further and check, okay, what are by the time you know the areas, what are the government policies even on this area? So would there be, maybe you want something for commercial, and then you're now looking at going to an area that government now in recent times have marked now for residential, because they've done that too in their policy. Yes, so they've backed out some areas, even in the GRA now, where you can no longer get approval for any commercial activity on that axis. So you can be buying thinking that, and now already one beer parlor day here, one school day here. So myself, I want to do restaurant. Then you will go to Edogis and they will say to you, sorry, we can no longer, sorry, town planning will do that, not Edogis. Edogis will do the CFO. Town planning will determine what you're actually using the house for, the purpose of the house. So they might not give you an approval for a restaurant in that place, because they would have said in the new policy, they argue that there is some certain businesses that they are now allowing an area. They are controlling the number of such businesses. So please, it is important that you check the town planning when you decide on what you want to do. And from what Imuwa is saying, the question, the future of real estate in Benin, what would it look like? I would say good. I would say to you, it's a gold mine that has not been tapped. That I can tell you. And so, if but in tapping this gold mine, we're all going to have to be strategic. Why am I saying so? Over the years, everybody is trying to just maybe buy one house and fix it, either to stay or to rent out. But I think we should, as an organization, move from those individual designed ideas. So because like in Lagos, where you have like a lot of estates, estate this, estate that, in Benin you don't really have. And then the ones that are there, they shine. They are not, so you go into the estate and asking yourself, is this one really estate? Like the Yekogba, the one that Lucky did. That is not an estate as far as I'm concerned. So we can, as a people, or let like-minded individuals come together and then design, an estate that really meets the 2024 demand. Do you call them millennials now, or bloomers, or
Princess says I should tell you, it's not an estate yet, but it's an estate in the making.
Okay.
Please. It is an
we can come together and raise the bar in the estate market in Benin, but it is not really going to be, if we use the individual approach, we really can't do much. But coming together, we actually can do a lot. And then you're going to get even estates in GRA that they're even saying there's no land. There is still land in this GRA. It's the old GRA that we're talking about. There is still land. And part of how, again, I came into the real estate industry, I started off in Benin as a restaurant, but because of the kind of restaurant I have, a lot of people, when they come into town, they come here. And everybody just comes and keeps downloading their problems. Oh, I just went house hunting. I'm totally pissed. I'm tired. I'm stressed. Just like you were saying, you pay the agent's fuel. Beyond pay for fuel and even carrying the agent there, right? You get to the house, you are disappointed because you literally have to use your own hand to remove all the cobwebs and things, dust and all of that. There's hardly any house you get to in Benin to say, I want to rent a house that is ready. It is not. You have to come and literally rebuild the house for the landlord. They'll give you houses that are dirty, roofs that are leaking, there is no toilet. And when you're even asking the agent, wait, what is the plan? The agent will be bold to tell you that, and I saw the landlord want to give her out. And I said, you want just to give them out. with all boldness. And the same person will be asking you to pay him 20% commission. So
they will tell you this one, if you know what I went through to get you this particular house, you go thank God.
It was all of that, all of these experiences that actually made me even get into real estate. So when I hear people say, "Oh, in Benin, houses are not priced there," you can't build house of Benin. You got to get all this 750,000 naira as rent, 1 million, 2 million. Breaking news: I am giving out properties at 15 million per year. I'm giving out properties at 20 million per year. It's the same Benin. So the opportunities abound. It just depends on, do you want to do it the way people have been doing it, or do you want to do it and add some value? So right now in the States, they'll say, okay, if you're looking for a better house, go ask Bamboo, because if I'm going to be showing you any house, I'm going to be showing you a house that I know I can live in. So not the houses that you get there and you literally now become a contractor, a construction contractor, because you rented a house. Because you are going to be the one. Sometimes you have to even fix the sockaway. Because you have a toilet inside where wherever it's flushing to is not sorted. So you have to sort it out. You have to go and get BDC to bring light to the place. It's not even like there is already light. I got a property where for more than a year, my landlord could not give me light because he said the previous tenant had some payments. They were owing BDC, and because I wasn't paid, BDC then had a new law where they said they won't give light they won't connect any house that is owing, whether it's by present tenant or previous tenant. So to fix that, I had to buy a transformer. But that was the only way we could get light to that address. I had to literally get a transformer because the transformers are numbered separately. So they are not tied to the houses. They are not tied to a particular location. So they are just numbered on their own. So I had to buy one just to get light. So it's a market that has a lot of opportunities. You just need to decide on how much do you want to make from this market and how do you want to enter.
A lot of potential. I mean, someone could start up an agency, that evaluates these houses, rates them, and maybe even have, and maybe even. Okay, Moy is saying, who are these 15 million clients? Let's be knowing. Let's be knowing.
She's asking if the 15 million clients are corporates or
if they are corporate.
Yeah, actually, both corporates and individuals. It's just the house that is available. So, the individuals who are looking for good places to stay where they don't have to go and construct first. So they too are paying. And understand as well that like the property that I had that went for 15 million was taken by individuals that work with MDC. So they took it. And they took it as individuals, not as MPDC.
Wonderful.
And then just this week now, we gave there's some what do you call it, transfers that just happened in CBN. So they sent some. So they are new staff. They are all now in the market looking for where to stay. So I'm even appealing to you guys if you have a property too, because they are on my case. So I'm looking for property for them. So yes. So we have the market is there in Benin. It might not be as organized as Lagos, where you can go online and see what is happening, right? Yeah. Maybe websites you can see, oh, these houses are available. But again, it's happening in Benin. We don't have websites in Benin for those things, but people have a way of saying, you're going to Benin, meet this. You're going to Benin, meet that person to sort you out. So all of these opportunities, abound. I didn't know about any reshufflement, for example, now in CBN, but I was just sitting where I was, and then, so you need to get a house for this person and all of that. So we got for one, and then realized that we have 3 more people to look for because those ones visited the lady and like, how did you get this kind of fine place? They said, it's one lady that connected me. And then they came to me, and now I don't have a house for them. So the market is there.
The market is there, but then standards need to be put in place. And I presume the other three would not come to you if the first lady had to construct her own toilet
Exactly.
or repair her roof and then buy generator and then you know power herself, get her own security and everything. So the standards, and there's a lot of opportunities really from the back end to even the front end. A lot of opportunities that I can think about right now as we are talking. That there's really no site I've seen that would list and tell you, oh, this is the landscape of unoccupied houses in Benin City. These red zones are danger zones. These are the zones that government have mapped out. So you best not get to this place. Like you can just see it there. Your choice is clear. Today in Benin City we have 39 duplexes sitting pretty. Statistics like this. A lot of opportunities that we can really utilize. So please, if you have a question, a contribution, drop it in the comments. Mohan is saying this is some fascinating information, and this is a fantastically brilliant session. And we want to thank you and thank you and thank you, our real estate Don, for coming on. Quickly before we wrap up, because we are starved for time, there is the issue of economic factors, right? What are the economic factors within the Edo real estate, within the Edo real estate sector, within the Edo real estate habitat that influences either positively or negatively, or let's say positively, the thriving of real estate businesses. That's one. Then two, if there are negative ones that you think should be amended or done away with, or there should be some sort of mutation or some sort of change. What economic factors are prevalent in Benin City that hamper or promote the thriving of real estate businesses? What economic factors in Benin account for the success or failure of some of these ventures in real estate? Care to share?
Okay, so for Edo State and this, the attractiveness of it, the economics of it, a couple of factors, and these are things that already affect other businesses. So you see, look at the dollar. So this exchange rate thing, it's getting some people excited, and then at the same time, it's giving some people panic attacks. I'll tell you why. Some people are excited that, oh, okay, you know what? When I send money now, if I could not afford a house before on OGRA, now I'll be able to afford because the dollar has increased, right? By the time I bring it from there, and understand that we have a lot of diaspora influence in real estate market in Edo State. So there is that excitement. Then again, the people that are here would say, oh no, now I want to keep my money in dollars. I'm not buying this real estate. In fact, I'd rather go and buy in Lagos where I am guaranteed of appreciation and all of that. So those factors come in. Okay. And then another very important thing that happened last year was the Japa Central. I know how many houses we had to buy below market value. Really, those houses were way below market value. People were selling off things, and I remember talking to a banker, and I said, "Why are you going to be selling your house?" Her house was conveniently worth about 60 million, but she sold the house for 28 million. I was beside myself, and I was saying to her, "Why do you want to just do this?" But she was like, "Oh, I'm leaving Nigeria. I'm not looking back. Oh, I don't even want to." So I even told her, I said, "Put tenants. Let us take it from you. Let us put tenants, and then
Manage it.
She refused. She just said she didn't want to look back. She doesn't want to be calling to be saying, bring rent money. How much will be the money anyways by the time you convert it, blah, blah. She sold it for 28 million for something that I know was worth well over 60 million. So last year, people that were in Benin got a lot of these properties under market value last year. So now, this year, a lot of people that jackpot already, they are beginning to see that, oh, it wasn't a very good move, especially since they had to sell their stock. So the ones that are here now that are not living, most of them now are not ready to sell. So they are looking at, okay, maybe I'll put it in rent. And then we've had a lot of people approach us to say, oh, will you manage it for us? Or some are even giving us the option to take a very long lease on it. So again, the infrastructure is something else that affects the economics. When Osio Light came to being, and they started giving lights to private homes, when I got inquiries, my business for properties, I heard things like, I beg you, this place where this land is, Osio Light don't reach them. You know, so they too were making decisions based on the infrastructure, the fact that they could get that 24 hours light. But what then happened? By the time Osio couldn't give, I think they had an issue of about 4 days. I think there was a 4 days and then there was a 1 week of no light at all because they couldn't get gas. People again weren't now so interested in saying, oh, I want to situate near the Osio axis because they felt, what happened to BDC, don't happen to these ones. So no need. Right? So all of these things were things that were affecting their decision to come to Benin or the area where they were going to be putting their real estate investment. Then another interesting thing was when MPDC moved to their headquarters on Oba Airport Road, most of the houses around there appreciated. Just within 3 months of them moving, where people actually realized that they will move, we had a property in the market there. It was a land we were just going to sell. The client wanted to sell. But by the time they actually moved, he said, oh, Bambo, let's not sell it again. I said, I thought you said you wanted to cash out of Benin market. He said, no. Instead, we'll just, what you say if we built for them? And then, that was now what finally happened. So he built instead of selling. So a lot of people are doing, all of this. And our diaspora market as well, the people in diaspora that are wanting to invest in Benin, those ones, they keep trying to buy land. And one thing with them is once one person buys in a particular location, they want to buy the very next building at whatever cost. So that is another. So the price drivers here, you really just can't pin what is making the houses expensive. It's just whatever it is. It's the sentiments behind it. How does the customer, whoever it is, the buyer, how do they? Okay, that's really one of those things that are there. So the infrastructure, so the lights that we thought the lights would come, there's MPDC there, there's IDSL, and then all of that. Now, Sapele Road was growing rapidly, but last year, people were dumping all their Sapele Road properties because of the bad road. A friend of mine had to squat with me for 7 months. She was in Benin, but she couldn't access her house because of the way the Sapele Road was. So she couldn't, because she says to me, by the time I close and get home, the next day by 10 o'clock, I'm still not out, even when I wake up early. So she started squatting with me. So a lot of people dumped their investment on Sapele Road last year because they just wanted to leave. They were not sure if government was going to fix the road, or not. Meanwhile, 3 years ago, Sapele Road was hot cake. Everybody wanted to do it. So for last year now, nobody wants to be there anymore. So everybody's coming back to say they want to stay in Jerry. So these are some of the things that affect the market. So you just need to look at it with the eyes of somebody, through the eyes of, or the lenses of somebody in Benin, to then maybe advise you on possible ways to invest. And then you need to decide on what you really want the investment for. So is it just invest, let me have a property, or not? And then I want to quickly touch on this ownership in Benin, please. In GRA, we have so many empty houses, and they are all by prominent families. I don't know why we have all of that in Benin, where the families will tell you they are not hungry, but they'll just let their father's house just rock like that. Nobody is about to maintain it. Nobody maintains it, but they don't sell it. They don't pay anybody. It is just there. And I don't know why they do that. but that is the houses that are littering GRA. And then you see all these abokis, they all now come and they are staying there because they put them as megad. From putting megad there, the aboki will get all of his clans people and everything.
So megads, army.
And all. So please let us change our mindset on that one. Let these families give out the house. Nobody is saying you are hungry. Giving out the house is not because you are hungry, but people keep saying that it is oh, you know, they don't need it. Oh, we are all doing well. We don't need it, and the house are just there. Really, so that's a mentality that we need to change.
Imuwahen is saying Igiogbe, I think it's called.
Igiogbe is always in Lagos Street, Oba Market Road, Apapava.
It's interesting to think. It's interesting to think that just one slight change in an economic indicator can literally set the fortunes of real estate investment in particular regions overnight. Just turn it around from obscurity to prominence. Like nobody is looking at these properties, but just one thing. I mean, we had the issue with the Dangote refinery at the time in Lagos, where as soon as it was announced that this is the area that has been mapped out where we're going to construct this refinery, oh, every blade of grass, you know, around that refinery became diamond, not just gold, became diamond. Everybody wanted to like, oh, let's go in. Ah, look at us, look at the refinery. I mean, it's crazy to think. And then this also goes to will I call it overstate or state the importance of some of these indicators, some of these things that we're talking about, these roads, this infrastructure being in place. So the government has a lot to do. You know, the government has a lot to do. If tomorrow somebody wakes up and says, "Oh, I am going to ensure that from Ring Road to what is called this place before the boundary between Edo and Delta along Sapele Road is tarred," then the fortunes of those who have properties around there will change overnight. It is interesting, and this is a deep call for concern, you know, to the government and the agencies that are in charge of these things, to putting these things in place. To add, Ibn Wahen is saying, I think there's a cultural thinking around it. Perhaps government can force them to act, and that would also be an opportunity for us here in Edo State. I like the points that you added about diaspora. I mean, if you have $750 right now, you are a millionaire in Naira. It's interesting. It's really interesting. You're a millionaire. So it's interesting. A lot has been said. If you have any question to ask, you have a contribution, please, Lawowo, right? Please put it in the comment section so that we can answer so that our guru will answer your questions and give you the clarity that you seek. Otherwise, if you're going to watch the replay and you're watching the replay right now, in the future, do well to also drop your questions. We would see it, send it to the appropriate quarters, and then reply with a robust response and give you the response that you need. I want to thank you so much for carving out time. I know how busy your schedule is to be here to talk to us on real estate, on what you have seen, on the testimonies, on the set forwards. I don't call it setbacks, you know, that you encounter interfacing with agencies, interfacing with those clients who have interest in some of these properties, and the whole how would I call it rofo fight in between, you know, these processes to acquire some of these properties. And want to say thank you so much for shedding light on, you know, sharing your experiences and suggesting ways that we can do better, not just as a people, not just as people who are interested in real estate, but also for the government, roles that they should play to make this work easy for UNA. And it's a fantastic thing to note. Thank you so much. Just before you leave, would like to hear your thoughts as a matter of parting. What are the parting words? What, just a sentence or two, or for 2 or a minute or more, string us something powerful, that even if we cannot remember everything that's been said in the past hour, we can commit those facts, those nuggets to memory, and it will influence our future decisions as far as real estate in Edo is concerned. A word or two, and then we'll wrap up the session. Thank you very much.
Okay, so it's been interesting being here, and I'm glad. Thank you to everyone that's been listening. What I'll say is, Benin is ready. Benin is ready. So if you think there are investment opportunities in Lagos in the real estate sector, understand that you can do the same in Benin with far less effort, and all of the government bureaucracies. And why am I saying that? It's not like there are no bottlenecks, but the beauty of those State is the fact that we all know each other. It's not as big as Lagos. So we know each other. And sometimes when you get stuck, the people are there to actually always step in, and help out. So I would say if you are doing real estate in Lagos or anywhere else and you feel Benin is not the right place, I would say to you, it is about time. Rethink that strategy. Money is being made in Benin every day, and again in this space, in the real estate space, money is being made. And you can do the same thing, and like I said, with little, or no effort. And then if you have properties here already in Edo State, please figure out how to make money for you. So just leaving it to just lie fallow and have all of these people, cockroach and rats are staying in the house, and then you have them aboki stay. And sometimes they too, they just make it, they just bring some nuisance to the environment, to the area. So let us see how some of those are family houses, we can actually convert them to some money-making venture. It just then might not be much to you, but it's a lot better than allowing the houses lie fallow. And all of the high-end properties that we think we're seeing in Lagos. Oh, in Lagos, you walk into the houses, oh, they are beautiful and all of that. Those ones are here too. People are actually making them ready, because the people that are looking for those kind of houses in Lagos, they're already houses where they don't have to do anything. The same people, when they come to Benin, their mindset has not changed. They still want that. But breaking news, in Benin is not there. It's not a lot. In fact, you can count the number of houses that are there. So it means that this market, understand that as people begin to do better in their different sectors and fields, they too desire, the whole lifestyle living in quotes. So all of that market is already created and it's there. So they are looking for people that will fill that gap, in that space. So I think Benin will give you, will bring money. Your real estate investment in Benin will bring money. It might not be as fast as you think Lagos is, but by the time you think of all the stress that you are going through with your Lagos property, you then look at it and turn around and say, okay, you know what? For less the trouble and wahala, you can still make money in Benin. So, and I am for less trouble and wahala, really. So that's why I'm actually in Benin City instead. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right. Thank you. Wow, what a session we've had. There is so much good stuff happening in Benin. Benin City is not as by if you look at it from population density, it is not as culturally diverse as Lagos. We still know each other. So there's still that um fiber of brotherhood, and it's easy to conduct a lot of business, profitable ventures in real estate and other ventures, in Benin City, and get value, real value for your money. Thank you so much, Princess. Thank you for coming on. We want to appreciate you for your time, for sharing your expertise and experience with us. And I'm certain that for those who are on this live and those who watch the replay after, there is a lot of value that has been tapped from this session, and that will inform future decisions in real estate. So if you have a land you want to sell, you have a property you want to sell, don't leave your father's house or your grandfather's house rotting in the ground. Please send Princess a DM and say, how do we do this? I know I don't need the money, but throw it somewhere, Let's develop this place. Let's not make it an eyesore of GRA, Let it also be as beautiful as other properties around it. So reach out to her, send her a DM, find her. She's everywhere. She's like land. You can find her everywhere you go, and ensure that you make the right decisions. Follow who know road. Don't go and buy land that will land you in trouble. It is very important that we state that. So thank you so much, Princess. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this very insightful session on real estate, the Edo perspective. Until we come your way again, same time, same YouTube channel. See you next time. Bye for now.
All right.